Oh boy, we've got one to talk about today, people. This is all about Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, the upcoming remake of the original Tomb Raider game, which, of course, is the first new game in the series since 2018's Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And guess what it's all about? Of course, it's generative AI. Who could have seen that one coming, right? Everybody's been talking about generative AI and how it's going to change the industry. Of course, this was also something that Crazy Taxi World Tour was caught about. This was talked about, of course, at Summer Game Fest. And apparently, they are considering this a tool. This is a tool not to be used in the final production of the game. So they claim. At Crystal Dynamics, we see AI as a tool that can help our team get to right answers faster. When asked why Legacy of Atlantis could possibly need to use the plagiarism machines on a series, the studio's been... By the way, this is an article from Kotaku, so keep that in mind. There is obviously a bias against generative AI, even though it wouldn't surprise me if a site like Kotaku has used or will use generative AI in the future. This is not something that many places are going to be immune to at all. So that's something to keep in mind, of course. He continues, so to say in early level development, we have an idea for an object, but we're not sure whether or not we want to take the dev time to build it. We can use a generative AI tool to help us visualize that object in the world. And if it works, then we'll move it to our traditional pipeline. From there, the team will concept it, they'll build it, and we'll make sure that all the finished content in the final game is human crafted. Now, of course, I have previously done videos, like for Expedition 33, for example, where we had a little bit of a discussion regarding the fact that that game was caught using generative AI. This has been going on for actually a while. Call of Duty has been doing this. Battlefield has been doing this. A lot of games have been using generative AI content and getting caught afterwards. And, they kind of address it. I remember the finals, and of course, Arc Raiders after that. They used generative AI for the voiceovers in those games. So this is not anything remotely new. And of course, a lot of people are upset about this fact because they want to play games that are made by people, obviously. Of course. Why wouldn't you? I mean, games should be made for people, by people. That seems like a pretty basic concept. But this is something that we have to contend with here, of course. This was all discussed in regards to a interview that they had with Game Informer. Let's go ahead and play the little clip, and we'll react to it here.
At Crystal Dynamics, we see AI as a tool that can help our team get to right answers faster. So let me give you an example of what that looks like.
So this is him going over that, of course.
We have an idea for an object, but we're not sure whether or not we want to take the dev time to build it. We can use a generative AI tool to help us visualize that object in the world, and if it works, we'll then move it to our traditional pipeline. From there, the team will concept it, they'll build it, and we'll make sure that all the finished content in the final game is human crafted. It's really important for us that our team have the tools to make the highest quality experience possible. Our fans deserve nothing less than that.
And so when you kind of drag that generative piece into the engine, does it have scripts attached to it, or is it more so an environmental art tool in that procedure? Like, what's that look like?
Sorry.
Okay. Sorry, I'm.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry. No, hold on.
No,
sorry.
okay.
No, I'm trying to. Sorry. Go ahead.
I think what I'd probably say is I think we said all we want.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. The PR person kind of interjecting here because they were probably afraid that he was going to tell the truth. They were afraid that he was going to spill the beans about this usage. You can tell that first bit that he discussed there, that was the canned response. That was the pre-approved response from the company. That is what the company wanted them to say. And then when that interviewer kind of did a follow-up, it was kind of to trick them, to kind of coerce them, and to elaborating on that response. And he was about to, and then that PR person interjected. Let's go ahead and rewind it just a little bit. Just listen. Just listen.
Tool and that procedure, like what's that look like?
Sorry.
Okay. Sorry, I'm.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry. No, hold on a second.
No,
Sorry.
it's okay.
No, I'm trying to. Sorry. Go ahead.
I think what I'd probably say is I think we've said all we want to say about it now. I
Okay.
think once the game comes out and everyone
Let's play
can
it.
see
Yeah.
how amazing it is.
Yeah, I did
Probably
really
be more
enjoy it.
comfortable. I think at this early moment, I wouldn't want us to start talking about that right now.
Yeah, we just want to make it as easy as possible for us to make.
Okay. So I think it's pretty clear, what they mean by that. They don't want to talk about it. They will disclose it to the very absolute bare minimum that they have to. But they will disclose it. They will disclose it. And part of the reason for that is because they want to utilize these AI tools not just to assist game developers, but to, over time, make that an even bigger and bigger part of the gaming pipeline. There's a lot of good reasons for them to do that, of course. All of them involve good old dineros, because if you can create assets using generative AI, well, do you need quite as many level designers and artists and all that good stuff? Do you need as many programmers? Do you need as many people doing sound and music? What about voice acting? Do you need as much of that? Writing? Do you need people writing the games if the AI scripts can handle that? I mean, just consider that. Just consider that. So, it's kind of ironic all this is going on. Will Jeff still have a job in a few years? I mean, if they are successful here, will he still have a job in a few years? If these AI generated assets that supposedly are just being used as a concept for the game, and then real people, they claim will actually finalize everything and craft it. I mean, if the asset's good enough for them to consider it, well, I mean, AI is going to get more advanced. It's going to get better. They're going to be able to iterate on it. It's going to be less and less apparent that it was AI generated as it gets closer and closer to getting over that uncanny peak. So, in an ironic way, he's training the AI to replace his job. That's something that's been going on in a lot of industries, obviously. That's why there's been a lot of this fear mongering about AI, of course. Some of it may not be justified, I suppose. There's always going to be people needed for certain things, but a lot of it is pretty justified, I would think. But, it is kind of interesting when you think about it, because you have to consider the new Tomb Raider game that is developed on the Unreal Engine. Now, why is that important, you might ask? Well, I will show you. We're going to bring up the Epic Games Store app here. In case you weren't aware, the Epic Games Store has a whole section dedicated to Unreal Engine. You can click on that right there. Now, in case you weren't aware, the Unreal Engine is free. Anybody can download and use the Unreal Engine. I can install this right now, and I can basically bring up a whole tool set for different features like level editing, modeling, all kinds of different things that you can do in the engine. It's, completely free. Anybody can do it. As a matter of fact, I used to be friends with somebody who did, in fact, make a game using Unreal Engine 5, and they released it on Steam. I think it was called Pitch Silent, if I remember right. I don't know if he's still on YouTube. His channel was Craighead Pro or something like that. but he actually released a game on Steam, solo developer, did the Unreal Engine 5, released the game, I'm not sure how well the game did or anything like that. I actually bought it to support it, just because, it's what friends should do. But yeah, you can download this engine. And here's another interesting thing. You can get prefabricated objects from this engine. There's all kinds of assets that you can purchase or even get for free. And they have it not just for Unreal Engine. You can do other stuff like Unity as well. So there's all kinds of different objects you can purchase and download, different, models, sprites, textures, animations, audio. There's all kinds of different things that you can get to add into your engine, made by various, people, various companies that, they actually make a living selling this stuff for the Unreal Engine. Chances are some of the games that you've played on consoles or on Steam or whatever may have used some of these assets. They may have used them and then made modifications to them, or they may have simply just placed the assets as is right into the engine for their game. So this is already something that exists. So tell me, given that there's this whole marketplace of content that you could get off of places like this, and there's other places as well, why you would need to use generative AI. I mean, you have to consider, like, using generative AI, you have to pay all kinds of fees and everything like that to these different companies, OpenAI, of course, Anthropic, XAI, all these other companies, Google has theirs, of course, Microsoft. A lot of companies have their own AI services. I don't know exactly what they're using here, but that is kind of interesting. And of course, what's going on with all of the assets from the wealth of previous games that you've used? I mean, Crystal Dynamics has been using Unreal Engine for a very long time. I can't remember the last time they used a game that didn't use Unreal Engine, or released a game that didn't use Unreal Engine, rather. So, they're clearly very well versed in this. They certainly have a wealth of assets that they can derive from, including from previous Tomb Raider games, I might want to remind you. So, I don't know. I just thought it was pretty interesting. A pretty interesting revelation. It's not the last time we're going to hear about this. We're going to hear about this a lot more, but eventually there will become a point where it'll just be accepted. It'll be normalized. People that are naysayers are just going to be shunned and ignored, because everybody's just going to accept that this is the new reality. Is that the reality you want? I don't know. It's not one for me. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to check out the video right above my head there. That's going to be one that I think you're going to really enjoy, according to the algorithm. And of course, in the other corner, you're going to get something brand new from me. I think you'll enjoy it. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe down there. But that's going to be the last line.